Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jimmy James. You're watching Catch It Live First. We've got coming up for you the Moto GP sprint race from Austria, the Spielberg circuit. Well, Spielberg, the Red Bull Ring, or whatever they want to call it. It's going to be fast and furious, and there are going to be tyre issues even in the shortened sprint race. Setting up of these bikes yesterday was a real issue. There was a smorgasbord of tyre choices from different riders. Some liking the soft front, some liking the hard front. The issue is there's only really two left-handers, so you're not getting the heat into that side of the tyre. And the issue is once you get to the chicane that they put in for safety reasons, after that crazy accident a few years ago with was it Morbidelli or Petrucci? I can't remember now. But Valentino Rossi nearly lost his head. So they put the chicane in to slow the bikes down. But coming out of the chicane, where you flick the bike right and then you flick it left, numerous riders losing the bike as you flicked it left because there wasn't enough heat in the tyre. So they're going to have to be aware of that today. And I'll make a prediction now. Somebody is going to go down at that chicane. And it won't be going into it on the brakes. It's going to be as you flick it left to drive up the hill. Somebody is going to lose the front. There's not an issue with front tyre wear. Tyre wear is going to be the issue from the rear. But getting heat in that front tyre, especially if you go with the hard, which I think Marc Marquez will do, that's going to be rider choice, really. So we will have some varying compounds of front tyre, I'm afraid. Or I'm not afraid, actually. It makes it more exciting. And tomorrow, join us for the full race because there's a chance it's going to be a flag-to-flag race because there's some inclement weather about. Yesterday was scorchy over in Austria. Today looks warm again. Not quite as hot, though. But tomorrow, yeah, there is going to be some cloud and potentially some showers about. So it could cause chaos. Which, let's be honest, we all like that, don't we? They're just on the warm-up lap now. And quickly go through the top 12 from qualifying. So it was Jorge Martin, superb lap time, a 1:27.7. Second place, Bagnaia. Third, Marc Marquez. Aleix Espargaro in fourth. Jack Miller fifth, good effort. Vignales sixth. Bastianini seventh. Morbidelli eighth. Bezzecchi ninth. Paul Espargaro 10th, got a wild card. Alex Marquez 11th. Binder 12th. We've got everybody's on the grid. The flagmen are moving away. We've got the red lights on. We are in Spielberg. Oh my word! What happened there? Was it Jack Miller? He shot right off the grid into the front. It's going to be Pecco Bagnaia in the lead after turn one. Everybody seemed to have got through. Jorge Martin in P2, Marc Marquez in P3. Bastianini runs wide into the chicane. What did I tell you? Somebody's gone down. That'll be Alex Marquez into the chicane. Well, it didn't take long, did it? And as we go into the turn at the top of the hill after the chicane, it's going to be Jorge Martin who leads after he took Bastianini into the braking zone. Bastianini's trying to come back underneath, downhill braking. Can't do it though. Late on the brakes was Jorge Martin there. 14 laps this short sprint race. So yeah, didn't take long. Although in fairness, Alex Marquez didn't lose it on the flip-flop to the left. He lost it going into the chicane. So whether somebody took his line or what happened, I don't know. We've not seen a replay of it. But he certainly went down at the chicane. Here comes Bastianini. Pecco Bagnaia under Martin. Although Martin with the undercut takes Bastianini back as they come onto the home straight. There's literally a cigarette paper between them. Bastianini, he's in 9th. So he has had some speed. but not as fast as his teammate Pecco Bagnaia this weekend. Oh my word. Hard on the brakes. He's got to run wide into the chicane. Yeah, he does. So, going into the chicane, Jorge Martin put the brakes on hard. The bike flicked on him. He had to run wide. He went down the escape road and then slotted back in behind Pecco Bagnaia, who now leads. So you've got a break at the front now. It's quite a big break, actually, saying we've only just had one lap. So we've got Bagnaia, Martin, Marquez, that's your front three. Then there's a gap, I'd say, of about 15 bike lengths or more to Aleix Espargaro in fourth. It's almost up to a second, that lead. I was hoping that this was going to update timing-wise, but it doesn't appear that it... Oh yeah, it is. Hopefully. The timings down here will update in a second, but you certainly don't need to see the timing screen to view the gap at the front between the front three. The equidistance, literally, end of the second lap, it's Pecco Bagnaia in the lead, Jorge Martin P2, Marc Marquez P3, then a second gap almost, back to Aleix Espargaro in fourth. And this chicane that they've put in to slow the bikes down has certainly caused some issues this weekend. Jorge Martin's currently under investigation now. That'll be because he went down the escape road at the chicane. He did lose the lead to Bagnaia, but it's whether they're saying he lost, did he lose sufficient time? Are they saying you've got to lose a second if you use that escape road? I don't know what the rule was on that. I know in World Superbikes often that is the case. And if you don't lose enough time, you are you're going to get a long lap penalty. Do you know, he lost nowhere near, he hardly lost any time at all. The only thing that Jorge Martin did do was give up the lead to Pecco Bagnaia. But if they're saying you were supposed to have lost a second, which is normally the rule, he wouldn't have even lost 2/10, I wouldn't have thought. Aleix Espargaro in fourth. He's just starting to close that gap to Marc Marquez, who's in third. But then after Aleix Espargaro, there's quite a gap to Jack Miller. So this race, realistically, with 11 laps to go, is going to be between Pecco Bagnaia P1. He's got a 0.3 second of a gap to Jorge Martin in P2, who in turn has got a 0.7 second of a gap to Marc Marquez in third. Oh, Marc Marquez was looking over his shoulder then. Not sure why. He's dropped back a little bit as Marc Marquez there. He didn't make a mistake, but whether he's just wondering about his tyre life, I'm not too sure. Not normally something you would associate, is it, with Marc Marquez being concerned about tyres? Because he's probably thinking, if my tyres are going off, because I think he was one with a hard front, said it felt more stable. Then certainly Bagnaia and Martin are not going to have a better tyre at the end of the race. Let's do a quick top 15 while everything's pretty status quo. We've got Bagnaia P1, Martin in P2, Marc Marquez finishes the top three. Then you've got Aleix Espargaro, Jack Miller, Frankie Morbidelli, Enea Bastianini still in 7th, Paul Espargaro in 8th, Brad Binder 9th, Miguel Oliveira in 10th. You've got Bezzecchi in 11th, Pedro Acosta in 12th. Pedro Acosta had a smack yesterday. He lost the front at about 180 and pretty much destroyed his bike. And he slid. It's a good job there was no one coming behind him, and it's a good job it wasn't in a race, because he slid right across the track. And when he came to a stop, he was in the middle of the track. So he got away with one there. did the young man. After Acosta in 12th is Quattraro 13th, Mavericks in 14th, and Johan Zarco rounds out your top point scorer in 15th. Lots of track limits warnings there. Morbidelli, Oliveira, Vinales, Zarco, Johan Mir and Luca Marini all on track limits warnings. And we're only on lap 4. Marc Marquez is almost a second behind Jorge Martin now. But he's not being put under pressure from Aleix in 4th because that gap's gone up to 1.2 seconds. 9 laps to go. As you were at the front, now Jorge Martin's had a track limits warning. I don't see this race being completed without quite a few long lap penalties being given out. Bagnaia, he's still under pressure here from Martin, but Martin's going to have to be really long lap penalty. Shortcut at turn 2, not losing 1 second in that sector. A long lap penalty for Jorge Martin. I'm assuming if that's the rule, the riders will know the rules, and Jorge Martin will have known that he lost nowhere near a second. Like I said, he must have lost, what, 0.2 of a second, 0.3. Because when he took the shortcut, he went down the escape road and he almost slowed down to slot in behind Pecco Bagnaia, and Marc Marquez was in close proximity, and he remained in third place. So I've not got a lot of sympathy for Jorge Martin there. Rules is rules, they know the rules, and alright, when the adrenaline's flowing, you might not want to lose that 1 second time, but it's going to cost him more than that 1 second in time now. That's for sure. You're just going through the chicane there. And I'm just wondering when Jorge Martin's going to take his long lap penalty. He must have known it was coming. Maybe he was thinking better to not lose the second there and be behind Marc Marquez. I don't think why. I just don't know why he wouldn't have lost the time. Because it's going to cost him what? Around here now, it's going to cost him 2.5, 3 seconds, I would have thought, which is going to put him behind Marc Marquez and in the clutches of Aleix Espargaro, who's in 4th. So we'll see 8 laps to go, so he's got 3 laps to take his penalty in. But this is going to be at the front now. I'm assuming Ducati are going to tell Bagnaia that Jorge Martin's got a long lap penalty, and he'll just cruise it to the end, I'm pretty sure. Looking at his teammate there, Bastianini, he's not making forward moves, which has surprised me really. So they're going into turn 1 now. Jorge Martin's taking his blimey. Oh! He almost over. Jorge Martin's just took his long lap penalty into turn 1. And yeah, I thought that would work out. He's got Aleix Espargaro right on his tail now. He did manage to stay in front of the Spaniard though. So he'll now try and get his claws into the back of Marc Marquez, who's taken over in second place. Marc Marquez is on a track limits warning though as well. Almost all the riders are on track limits warnings. It's easy to say who isn't. And that's Pecco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, Bastianini, Binder, Paul, Acosta, Quattraro, Salvadori, Nakagami and Rins. Everybody else has got track limits warnings. So yeah, that's what I was saying. When he took his long lap penalty there at the top of turn 1, Jorge Martin went steaming in there, put the bike on its nose, managed to get it turned, but almost ran wide onto the green. And I'm pretty sure he didn't touch it, but it was mighty close. And obviously, if you do that, then you've got to take the long lap penalty again. And you won't get away with it because they've got all the sensors there. But just off my eyeball, he managed just to keep it within the permitted area. But he certainly had that Ducati on its nose when he was entering the long lap penalty lane around the edge of turn 1. So Pecco Bagnaia at the front now, his gap to Marc Marquez is 1.4 seconds, and it looks like Marc Marquez is closing that gap. Then behind Marc Marquez is Jorge Martin, 2.7 seconds is the gap. He's now pulled away from Aleix Espargaro, who's in 4th. And Aleix is having quite a lonely race there, to be honest. We've got 6 laps to go. There's a battle going on behind that we're watching now, which is Jack Miller, Frankie Morbidelli and Enea Bastianini. And you'd expect Bastianini to be taking the fight to these two on that factory Ducati, which we've seen in the hands of Pecco Bagnaia. He's capable of running at the front. Bastianini is capable of winning races, as we saw in Silverstone. And coming onto the pit straight now, he doesn't get the drive off that final corner. Is he going to have a go at... into turn 1 there. Bastianini braked late and he hit Frankie Morbidelli, who was in front of him. They've all stayed on. He's pushed Frankie Morbidelli wide, and Bastianini has carried on his merry way and got... just watching it again. Yeah, Marc Marquez has crashed. Marc Marquez has crashed at the top of the hill at turn 3. He needs to be careful there. Don't go the wrong way around that circuit. Oh, he's come back onto this track. He's just trail braking in there, front washed out on him. He managed to keep hold of the bike though there. You've got to be careful when you do that your little finger doesn't go under the handlebar, because it'll just grind your finger away. But and he's literally touring around. He's rejoined, but he's going into the pit lane, and that's your lot. So now at the front, it's pretty much as you were. Pecco Bagnaia P1, Jorge Martin now in P2, but he's 4.5 seconds behind Pecco Bagnaia is Jorge Martin. Aleix Espargaro has inherited that third place after Marc Marquez's crash. And he's looking pretty secure because Jack Miller, I'm not sure what the gap is there, but he wasn't even in the same shot. So considering this circuit is pretty much 10 corners, the field's pretty... I know you always get field spread, but it's well and truly spread out, and I'm pretty sure that's down to tyres. So Frankie Morbidelli now is closing back up on Enea Bastianini. So is he going to return the favour going into T1, maybe at the top of turn 3 maybe? Because he's not shy, is Frankie Morbidelli. I know he's a nice guy in that, but as soon as he puts that helmet on, he's well capable of getting his elbows out, and I've got a feeling Enea Bastianini is going to find out. The first chance he gets Morbidelli, he's going to stuff it up the inside of the Ducati factory rider. But Pecco, yeah, he's not under pressure at all now, and with 4 laps to go. Although, we've seen this with Pecco Bagnaia, where he's had this kind of lead before, and then the camera will cut across to him and he's sliding across on his helmet. You know, he'll have dumped the front or something like that when he didn't need to. I'm just watching a replay now of Marc Marquez losing the front. Yeah, just washed out. He was wide as well into the turn. He was, but he just kept trail braking, and he'd have been better if he'd have just run wide, because he'd have probably still kept the place. But at the end of the day, it's Marc Marquez, isn't it? He's pushed his luck all of his career. Tell you what, this is getting close now, with Miller, Bastianini, Morbidelli and Brad Binder's come to join the party, and Marco Bezzecchi's not a million miles away. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, once Frankie Morbidelli gets even a sniff of a move on Enea Bastianini, he's going to put a block pass on him, or he'll do something. You can't let Bastianini get away with doing what he did. But they're all pretty equidistant apart, these four. There's almost like 2 bike lengths between each rider. Just got 3 laps to go. And considering it's just, like I said, it's just a big square, this Spielberg Red Bull ring over in Austria, field spread's been quite big, which I can only think is due to tyres. Bastianini's just taken... Ooh, did he go on the green there? Bastianini's just taken Jack Miller. As he did it, coming onto the final turn, it looked like he was mighty close to going on the green, but I think he'll have just got away with it. Miller went defensive there, as Frankie Morbidelli, the victim again, tried getting around the outside of him. He wants Enea Bastianini, and now he's lost all of his momentum, and Morbidelli's lost 2 places in 2 corners there, because Brad Binder's just taken him into the chicane. Although, a great move by Morbidelli, he's come around the outside of Brad Binder at the top of the hill, and he's regained that place behind Jack Miller now. He's going to have to do it all over again, and with 2 laps to go, I don't think Morbidelli's going to be able to lay a glove on Enea Bastianini, especially as he's got Brad Binder in between him and the Ducati rider. So it's there's not many people who beat Brad Binder on the brakes, and around this circuit, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Gap at the front between Bagnaia and Martin, still at 4.2 seconds. That's remained pretty static. Then there's a gap between Martin in second and Aleix Espargaro in third. That's 3.3 seconds. That's static. And Aleix in third, he's got 2.5 seconds over Bastianini. So that front 3, the podium, looks like it's set, barring a mistake and a tip-off by one of them. Who's having a shocker and who's having a good? Alex Marquez is down in 20th, but we saw him crash on the first lap as he went into the chicane. I thought it would have been coming out of it, but no. He'd picked his bike up though and carried on. Johan Mir's got a long lap penalty. I'm assuming that's for track limits transgressions. Taki Nakagami's not doing too bad. He's in 16th on that dog of a Honda. Zarco, he's in 15th. Maverick Viñales is in 11th. Pedro Acosta in 10th. I hope this is not a forebearer of things to come in tomorrow's race, because it's not really, mainly because Martin got that long lap penalty for not dropping a second as he took the shortcut in the chicane when he was in the lead. But there's not been a lot of real close racing up at the front. The best racing's probably been between Bastianini, Jack Miller, Frankie Morbidelli and Brad Binder. But we're on the last lap now. No, he's celebrating. Well, there's something gone wrong there. There was something gone wrong with... How bizarre. There's something went wrong there with the number of laps left. They were showing 2 laps left. And as Pecco Bagnaia went across the line, it went to 1 lap. Then he started celebrating, like giving it the thumbs up, and And just as I looked, yeah, one lap, he's going to celebrate a lap earlier. And then the graphics changed to last lap finish. So there's something went amiss there with the lap counters. But I'll quickly give you the top. I'll give you the finishing order now. Let's get rid of that track noise. So the finishing order was Pecco Bagnaia P1, Jorge Martin P2, Alessia Spargaro P3, Enea Bastianini P4, Jack Miller P5, Frankie Morbidelli P6. He'll be going having a word with Enea Bastianini maybe. Brad Binder in 7th, Bezzecchi in 8th, Paul Espargaro in 9th. Good effort from Paul. Pedro Acosta in 10th, Maverick Vinales in 11th, bit disappointing. Fabio Quartararo 12th, Miguel Oliveira 13th, Raul Fernandez 14th, Johan Zarco 15th, Taka Nakagami in 16th, so just out the points there for the Japanese rider. Luca Marini 17th, Salvadori 18th, Johan Mir 19th, and the final finisher was Alex Marquez, who crashed on the first lap, but managed to get on his bike and regain for a finish, although he won't get any points there. So as the championship stands, just get a quick drink. As the championship stands, it's Pecco Bagnaia on 250 points, Jorge Martin on 250 points. Then you've got Enea Bastianini. He's in 3rd on 198 points, and Marc Marquez in 4th, 179. Marc Marquez crashing out in that race. So tomorrow's race could be interesting. Moto 3 is going to be the best race of the day. Pretty much always is. So we'll be covering that in the morning. We'll have Moto 3 and Moto 2 plus the full-length Moto GP race. Hopefully there's a little bit more entertainment than there was in that sprint race. And there could well be, because there's a little bit of inclement weather around tomorrow, like I said. Plus, over the longer distances, the riders are going to have to look after the rear tyre. Front tyres are not really an issue from a wear point of view. They are an issue in respect of choosing the right compound to get through the chicane. Because, like I said earlier on, there's only 2 left-handers on this circuit. And if you do not have that front left-hand side up to temperature, coming out of that chicane, you will tuck the front. We've seen it numerous times in practice over yesterday and earlier this morning. So, yeah, choose your tyres carefully. And tomorrow could be about attrition as much as anything, which always closes the field up. But then you throw the weather into it, and we could have a flag-to-flag race. We could be in for some fireworks. Let's hope so. Right, I'm going to go. We've got Rugby League coming up for you at 5 o'clock tonight. Wigan playing St Helens. So please join us for that. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. And if you ping that notifications bell, you can keep abreast of what streams we've got coming up. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I'm Jimmy James. You're watching Catch It Live First. We'll be back at 5 p.m. today, GMT. Wigan playing St Helens.